You know that phrase people use when something's boring? They say, it's as dull as watching paint dry. Well, I think I've got a new one. It's as dull as watching Japanese cars go by.
I mean, just look at this lot. What an absolute shower. I tell you, the car designers in this place must either be on strike or in a pram. Mind you, it's not only me who's fed up. Some of the Japanese themselves have just about had enough. I am the one and only. This is the Tommykaira ZZ. I know, daft name, but don't worry about that, because this is the most exciting looking car to come from Japan in decades. And more important than that, it's a roadster that takes risks. In a country where good cars are judged by their number of gizmos, the ZZ has been stripped back to basics. The ZZ is the brainchild of Mr. Mitsuoka, an XF2 driver and race engineer, who is on a mission to teach the Japanese what real sports cars are all about.
Japanese sports cars are okay, but they have too much technology and lack characters. I want to build a simple and exciting sports car, like from the old days. I want to sell 100 cars. If I don't, I will lose all confidence in Japanese taste. I mean, what must I do to please Japanese customers?
Mr. Kaira's hero was Colin Chapman, so it's kind of appropriate that he's not going to build this in Japan. He's going to build it in Norfolk. It's funny, isn't it? Honda, Toyota, Nissan, they've all come to Britain to teach us how to build volume cars. This guy, he's coming to Britain because he loves the way we build specialist cars.
And things are starting to look even better because Mr. Kaira and his ZZ are not alone. Say hello to Mitsuoka Zero1, the latest offering from Japan's newest car company.
Something better change. I said something better change. I said something better change. Yeah, take it, you!
Like the ZZ, the Zero1 is all about no-nonsense motoring. And although it's not as good a car to drive as its rival, I must say, I rather liked it.
Okay, so the guy that built it hasn't exactly bust a gut at the drawing board, because even on a foggy night with your head on backwards, it's pretty obvious that this is a replica of a caterer. But not to worry, because the people that built it have got quite a few more tricks up their sleeve.
Mitsuoka Motors started out by taking ordinary Japanese production cars, cutting the dull old bodies off and replacing them with something altogether more snazzy. Production is low, only a few hundred cars a month. And inside the workshop, it's like one of those specialist little car films you only find in Britain. But that's okay, because the owner gets down on his knees when he sees an old English classic.
When I was a boy, just after the Second World War, the Allied forces brought MGs and Jaguars to Japan. I loved their long noses and big, bold headlights. They were designs that became fixed in my mind, and I realized I had to make cars just like them.
Right on, babe. This understated little number, called the Jura, was an early attempt, and, well, we've all got to start somewhere. As you can probably guess, the Huggy Bear styling was a bit rich for Japanese stomachs fed on a diet of Toyota Corollas. Not surprisingly, the car bombed. But Mr. Mitsuoka remains undeterred and has even more designs in the pipeline. Can't wait.
Of course, it's very easy to take mass production cars and just put new fronts and ends on them and add a subframe. But our main aim was to learn the process of making a car with our first 5 models. Then we put out the Zero1, which is the car that the Ministry of Transport recognised as a true chassis, and they gave us permission to build our own cars in Japan.
I've saved the best till the last. This is the Viewt, and for me, it's his crowning glory. Now, don't adjust your sets because it is a Mark II Jag, but it's got the style and the grace, and indeed the dimensions of a Nissan Micra. Because oddly enough, it is a Nissan Micra, and I would just love to take it to a Mark II Owners Club meeting in Britain. Sorry I'm late, lads, but my wife, she put the car in the washing machine. This is how it came out. Well, I don't know about you, but if I was a baddie, I wouldn't exactly be wetting my pants if Inspector Morse and Lewis came bundling around the corner in one of these. This is all a car that Noddy and Big Ears would splash out on if they had a good day of the GGs. Right, I'm going to show you the dashboard now, but before I do, make sure you haven't got a mouthful of food. You ready? There it is. Look at that. Now, all you craftsmen at Rolls-Royce and Aston Martin, I want you to be taking notes about it. This is how to do it, chaps. No, but joking aside, I am not going to knock this guy. I mean, in a country that has taken car dullness to such new heights, any man who gets out of bed and says, I'm going to take these Japanese minis and turn them into bite-sized English classics, deserves a medal.
And I have just got to be there when he sees his bank manager about a loan for his next project. Morning, Mr. Mitsuoka. What is it now? Right, it's a cross between a space shuttle and an old MG. Now, what I want to do is chop the tops off the shuttles, replace those with